All right, guys, in this video, we're gonna be working on the Retro Fox. I know a lot of you have been waiting on this. And to be honest with you, I kind of have too. You guys said that you wanted to see some modifications done to the Retro Fox. You wanted some retro content with it. Well, I can't give you the GT40 heads and the GT40 intake really, but what I can do is give you a set of aluminum heads to put on the car. So what we have here are SVE heads that LMR used to make. They don't make them anymore, but they're a 170cc head. They performed really good on the green car whenever we had them, so we're gonna use these. As you can see, we have ARP head bolts. I know everybody's gonna want me to go ahead and go to studs, but guys, we don't have studs. We have bolts. So we're gonna use the ARP head bolts. We're gonna use the Felpro 9333 gaskets, which are pretty damn good. Also, we have roller rockers down here and hardened push rods. So we're gonna use our roller rockers, our hardened push rods. We're also gonna put an adjustable regulator on, and we have some new oxygen sensors as well that came out of the Calypso. Those need to be replaced, and just generally clean everything up, guys. I'm probably gonna run the stock intake for now. We do have some injectors for the car, but for right now, we're just gonna go ahead and leave the 19-pound injectors in, because the only thing we're changing is just the heads. So we should be more than fine there. We do have some 30-pound injectors and some 24s. So eventually we'll probably slap some 30s in the car. Let's go ahead, get the Retro Fox, put on the lift, and get started. Bam! And just like that, we got pretty much everything that we need. Told you guys we're just going to be running the 9333 gaskets. That's just for all the front end of the car. And we got a set of slightly used intake gaskets. Also, we have some better lifters over here. The lifters that are in the car, well, they're leaky. Guys, this is not going to be a tutorial on how to install heads on a car. As always though, I will do a time lapse and go over anything that I can help you guys with. But other than that, we're just going to set up a time lapse because you guys just want to see the end result. I will though show you me cleaning the heads up a little bit, you know, just getting these things a little better situated, if you will. I'm not going to get out here and try to break any records or anything, but I would figure sometime later on tonight I should be putting this thing back together. It all depends. Most of the time, the problems that you're going to run into are your gaskets, getting all your gaskets scraped off and getting everything clean. That's usually what takes the longest. All right, with all that being said, I'll go ahead and set you up in a time lapse and I'll get started. All right, I'm back. It feels like an eternity because we had a lot of work to do. I got stuff all over me. So before we go back into a time lapse of me putting all of this back together, and yes, this looks like crap right now, but I promise you, it will all clean up pretty good. So before we go back into another time lapse, let's talk real quick about a few things. When you pull your distributor out, if you want to save yourself a lot of time, just take note of whichever way your distributor button is pointed. If it's pointed this way, you can always mark it or take a picture. As long as you don't spin the engine over, guys, you're good. Just drop that thing right back in where it was pointed and then set your timing accordingly. So that's something that you can do just to save yourself a little bit of time. Set aside enough time for your cleanup of all of your gasket material and everything else. That takes a very long time. I don't think a lot of people are aware of that, just how much time it does take whenever you're working on something like that. Cleaning off your gaskets can take an hour to 2 hours. It just depends. Especially since this car probably never had any head gaskets on it. all that stuff was really kind of stuck on. Now, another thing is, when you look at it, it's gonna look like crap. It's just, there's not much you can do about that. It's gonna look all just crusty and everything else. The important thing is that you get all of your gasket material off and leave yourself a smooth surface. Now, do not take sandpaper and things like that and try to sand it down with a sander. They make tools like this over here that I show you guys that you can clean your surfaces with. It's like a nylon brush, and it works pretty good. It doesn't eat into your aluminum and stuff like that, so just use that instead. You can pick them up from the auto parts store, but you can use all of that. If you got yourself a parts washer, that's going to help you a lot. Throw everything in there, clean it all up good. So one of the other things I like to use is Scotch-Brite. It just works really good. You can get in there and really clean everything up. But hey guys, with all that being said, there's not much else to do than go ahead and slap this thing together. I want to try to get all this done in one day. So I'm going to go ahead, start putting the gaskets back on this thing. I'm not going to use any spray tack or anything like that. And the only reason I'm not, because this car is not going to be boosted, or not anytime soon anyway. And this stuff is just a pain in the ass to get off. That's what took me so long, because the old gaskets had that spray tack on it. At some point we do want to boost this car, so that means probably gonna have to pull these heads off, put some head gaskets, some studs and all that anyway, so there's no point in going through all that process right now. I'm gonna take all of these long bolts and we're gonna dip these things in oil, and that's what I'm going to use. And the short ones, we're gonna put a dab of silicone around them, RTV, and put those in. That's that, guys. Do it the way you want to. I'm not going to tell you it's the right way or the wrong way. With all that being said, I got a lot of work to do. Let me go ahead, get busy. I'll catch you guys when we're done. Oh, all right, guys, that is pretty much it. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead, fire the car up. It does have open headers and we don't have the cooling system ran yet. So I'm going to go ahead, fire this thing up, see if it busts off. If it does, we'll go ahead, switch it off, and finish this thing up. Well, all right, that sounds pretty good to me. So let me go ahead, finish this thing up. I'll button the exhaust up and we'll bust this thing off late tonight. See ya. We did our head swap in one day. I think it took about 6 hours to do something like that. So something that I was thinking about as I was swapping these heads, I was like, why are you really doing this today? And I think honestly, I just wanted to prove to myself that I could still do this. You know, we all talk about the fact that we don't have enough time in the day. Well, I was gonna do it, but I just didn't have enough time. Well, there you go. 6 hours, you can do a head swap. Point is, we can do a lot more than what we say we can do. So today, I wanted to prove to myself, I guess, that I could come out here, swap these heads. Now, this would have been a lot quicker job if we didn't have to pull them off this other motor, clean everything up. But regardless of all that, guys, she's back together, looking pretty good. I still haven't put any water in the system because it's getting kind of late here tonight. So I wanted to be able to drive the car in this video, but that's okay. I will go ahead, start it up for you. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I know we had a lot of time lapse and not a lot of talking, which I think actually you guys probably like that. But anyway, something like this can be done in a day. Grab a friend. It's not that big of a deal. Trust me. Beware though of your stock valve covers if you're going to be going to a roller rocker setup, something like that. They are notorious for hitting. And yes, we did take out the baffle up here. That's not what's hitting. That side's actually good. The front boss up here on the inside of this is actually what tends to hit. So now it's on. We have started modifying the Retro Fox. We are going to keep it kind of simple, guys. We're not going to get carried away, but we're going to enjoy this one. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. And as always, thanks for watching.